Hey everyone, this is the Into the Future podcast at the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor. Our alma mater states, we're ever thankful for our past, and into the future we will go. That's why on this podcast, we highlight stories of light from our past to bring hope for the future. Hey everyone, welcome back to this new season of Into the Future. Today I am so excited to have Tiffany Elkins join us. She has so many wonderful connections to UMHB, and you will hear that in today's conversation. Tiffany graduated in 1998 with a degree in business administration and a minor in economics and a secondary teaching certificate. That's pretty impressive. She is the wife to the women's soccer coach, Barry. She's a mother to Colin, Legacy alumni, a Legacy student, Cade, and Molly Kate, who is 11. She's also been blessed with a daughter-in-law who's also alumni. That is Emma, and she graduated in 2022.
Sounds right.
Yes. Okay. Fun fact about Tiffany is that she had a great-grandmother that attended UMHB in 1915. So I am so excited to welcome her because she has so many perspectives to share. But I'm just really excited to get to chat with Tiffany, and I know that you'll enjoy this too. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, we always start the podcast out the same way because our alma mater states we're ever thankful for the past. Could you share about your favorite memory from UMHB and your time here?
Sure. Well, I'd have to say, besides meeting my husband in the first week of Welcome Week here in Hardy Hall, which used to be our cafeteria, that would definitely be my most favorite memory. But favorite tradition memory, I would say the Miss MHB pageant. Just getting to participate in that. And I can remember all the girls that were in it at the same time and how close we got. And then getting to help with it the next few years. And then getting to bring my niece back to it. And then eventually my daughter back to it. It's a special memory for me. And I just love what it represents as far as showcasing inner beauty.
Yeah, I love that. I know that you're on the video they show each year, I believe, at the Miss Mary Hardin-Baylor pageant.
Maybe so.
Yes. I believe that you are, and you get to talk about like the inner beauty and the experience that you had. So I'm grateful you shared that. So you met your husband, Barry, here, the very first welcome week, your freshman year.
Yeah, he had already been here for 2 years, and I came as a freshman, and we met in the cafeteria.
Oh, sweet. And now he's the women's soccer coach here. So you have a unique position that you're able to minister to the young ladies that play, that are athletes on his team. Could you share about that experience and that unique perspective you have?
Sure. After we graduated from UMHB, he coached girls soccer locally at the high school level for about 15 years. And so that was a really neat time because we got to minister and just do life with families here in the area. But then when he came to UMHB to coach, which was about 12 years ago, it was a little different because we were with the girls who were away from home, many for the first time. And so it allowed me to kind of take on like a teen mom role, I guess. And one of the things I got to do was to start to host a Bible study in our home each week. And I just have some of the best memories during that time of having that in our home every week. And then when our daughter got a little bit older, which I'm sure we'll talk about her, she required a little bit more care. And so I had to step back from that, but was able to focus more, I guess, on one-on-one relationships and kind of one-on-one discipleship with some of his girls. But then this year, I've been able to get back into the Bible study and have been able to go and lead it every other week. And that's been a blessing for me. You know, I lead it, but I'm the one that gets the blessing every time. I just leave with my cup so full. Just seeing the girls and how much they desire to grow in the Lord during their time here. It's a blessing to me, for sure.
That's really neat. So you have this team mom perspective that you get to help the team and disciple these young ladies, but you've also had two of your own sons come to Mary Hardin-Baylor. Can you talk about getting to be connected as a mom to Legacy students?
Yeah, so that has been really neat. Getting to see my own kids and a lot of my friends' kids who attend here now being here and just making the campus their own and getting to participate in so many of the traditions that we did. That's been really special. Colin, our oldest, was a music major here. And when I was here, I wasn't a music major, but I did choir and some other musical things. So it was really neat to get to see him come through that program. And then Cade, our student who's a senior here now, I think the first couple weeks y'all were here, you
Yes.
jumped into a leading stunt night, freshman class stunt night. And then he went on to lead the whole thing. I guess that was last year. And that was really neat because when I was a student here, it was a little bit different, but the sophomore class officers were in charge of putting on stunt night. They coordinated the 4 classes. And so when I was a sophomore, I got to help with that. And stunt night was actually out at the amphitheater, which is not there anymore.
Right.
We had it outside in the afternoon. But it was so neat just to see Cade get to do the same thing and how much fun he had with it. And then he was involved with crew nights a few years ago, I think was an MC or host. And Barry had been in crew nights when he was a student here, and they both were in Easter pageants. So anyways, it's just been really neat to get to see them enjoy the things that we loved so much when we were here too.
Yeah. I love that. I know Kate and I had a great time directing together our freshman year. So I remember you even like getting out of your car right before rehearsal one time and bringing us coffee. And it was one of the sweetest like moments because I wasn't expecting it. So thank you. Yes, I still remember that. What could you say to parents who maybe they've never been connected to Mary Hardin-Baylor? They don't really know what the campus is like, but they have a student on the way, like they're a senior right now, and they know that their student is going to attend Mary Hardin-Baylor next year. What word of advice would you give them?
I think it would be to rest easy knowing that there are people here, adults here that are going to watch out for your child. One thing that I've always prayed for my kids, in addition to having godly peers and friends around them, is that God would place godly adults in their lives and mentors that maybe during the times when it's not as cool to listen to mom and dad, that they would have godly role models in their lives that they would listen to. Even if we're giving the same exact advice, sometimes it comes better from someone else at certain times. So I've always prayed that the Lord would fill any gaps in that way. And he definitely has been faithful to do that through faculty and staff here and ministry leaders here, people in the local church here. And so I think I would just tell parents that there are people here that are going to watch out and walk with your student through this time for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I know that I've personally known a lot of students, and I'm one myself who benefited from people we've been around, faculty and staff, that have encouraged us and mentored us to becoming who we are. And so I'm really grateful for that too. When you were a student, did you have a faculty or staff mentor or a person that really meant a lot to you that helped you grow in your faith? And how did Christ grow you during your time here on campus?
Well, I think about how back then and now, one of the things I really appreciate about UMHB is the emphasis that is put on joining a local church and serving in a local church. And that was definitely something that was encouraged when we were here. Barry and I joined a church and were able to get involved and serve. The youth minister there put us to work, and I really appreciated that. And not only did we get to serve, but there were a lot of senior citizens in that church. And I so appreciated the way they poured into us as college students from their experiences in life and their wisdom in life and how that helped to grow us. And not only did our parents had both really set a good example of serving in the church as Barry and I were growing up. But I feel like that encouragement to do that through college and not just kind of coast along while you're here really springboarded us into the way that we view serving in our church today. But as far as your question, I don't know if I could pick just one person on campus that really poured into me, but there were definitely several that did and encouraged that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Switching gears a bit, I know that I got to attend the Mark Smith Center for Teacher Preparation opening last spring, and that your daughter, Molly Kate, spoke at it. Can you tell me about that experience and just all about what that meant to you?
Sure. So Molly Kate is our 11-year-old, which you mentioned. She was born with the rare brain malformation. So she is in a little pink wheelchair and uses a communication device and really requires help with her daily living activities, most all of them. So several years ago, she started attending what we called then the special needs lab at UMHB. And it's where students from our education department are paired with students with disabilities, and they prepare little lesson plans and get to know them through play. And it prepares our education students to then work with kids of all abilities when they go out into the teaching field. And so Molly Kate has loved going there ever since she started. But the previous lab was kind of a small place, and it was not super accessible for her in her wheelchair. And it was kind of hard for her to get around, and she had to use a different door than the other students just to get up to the main level of the house. And so when they built the new center, we were so excited. And she got to go and kind of preview it and go in all the different rooms and play. And she was so thrilled. And she is verbal. She didn't speak her first words till she was 4. And now she speaks all the time. But she's very hard to understand if you're not around her a lot. And so she was able to articulate to us what she loved about the new center. And then we programmed it into her communication device. And that's how she was able to give the speech at the opening. And so that was very special. And we feel so blessed that we lived right here by the university. I mean, it's state-of-the-art center. And as far as we know, there's no one else in the nation doing what they're doing there. And so we like, how lucky and blessed are we to live right here, and that she gets to benefit from it every week. So,
right. Yes. I don't think that there's any other known university that allows undergraduate students to work in a lab like that. And so that is so neat that she gets to be a part of that.
She talks about it every week. She can't wait to go every Tuesday.
Yes. And if alumni are in town for homecoming, they get to tour the Mark Smith Center for teacher preparation, because we'll have reunions there for alumni of the College of Education.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yes. Very cool. Well, I know that like in your family, it hasn't always been easy, and that's been a big blessing. But how have you seen the faithfulness of God in your life?
I think there's so many instances, I can name so many things, but having a child with multiple disabilities, it has been not an easy road. And so God has proven himself faithful over and over again. But especially, we've gotten to see very tangible ways that he's provided for her and for us. And one of the big ways I think of is when she was 2.5, she got her first wheelchair. It was a pink power chair, but we did not have a way to transport it. And accessible vehicles are very, very costly. And so our neighbor across the street, who was a member of our church, she got some friends together and they organized a 5K. It's called the 5K for MK. And it was here on the campus of UMHB. And community members, faculty and staff from the university, church members all came together and ran the 5K and donated and fundraised in different ways. I think the art department made the medals for the people that placed in their age division. They were pink and they had her handprint on them. And anyways, so it was sweet. Just, just the sweetest coming together of just the community in general. But it just put God's faithfulness to provide for us on display. Mm-hmm. And so we've gotten to witness that so many times up close in big and small ways through her journey. I mean, so many other ways in our family, just in general, but specifically with her journey, it's so neat to see the way that he's faithful. And we know as we go into the future that that's not going to change. He's unchanging. So we can look at what he's done in the past and know that he's going to continue being faithful.
So. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yes. I know so many people love your family and they really love Molly Kate. So I hear it all the time.
Well, she's a people person.
She loves people too. Yes. Well, we finished the same way each time. So what gives you hope for the future? You sort of touched on that, but I'd like to hear your answer again.
Definitely God's faithfulness in the past gives us hope for the future and the way he's been faithful to our family and to this university. But I also think, we get to see up close so many different college students, not just the soccer team, but college students that we go to church with, and students that are friends with our kids that are here, and students at the lab that work with Molly Kate. But we also have students from the OT and PT programs and the education programs that we hired to help us at home with Molly Kate. And so we get to see a lot of college students, up close and do live with them. And I think what is so encouraging to me is to see the way they love and serve and how they're already living out their callings in such God-honoring ways. And so that definitely gives us hope for the future.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I can't wait for everyone to listen to this episode, likely when they're headed to UMHB homecoming. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Into the Future. We desire that you walk away with encouragement from the stories of hope that you heard today. As you go into your day, remember that the world needs you. You matter, and God cares. As Romans 15:13 says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit.